Okay, so appreciate the introduction, Dr. Woodruff. Appreciate your presence, and it's really an honor to be presenting some of the work that we are doing in this area that we don't know very much. We are trying to learn a lot, but it's been a very nice experience, and appreciate also Jordan for all the help and all the work that we are doing together. So, feed ingredient importation is kind of an area where we don't have much knowledge. There's no data in literature. This presentation has no p-values, but we are trying to understand what we should do, what we can do to prevent introducing foreigner disease to our herd. So the goal here is basically focus on ASF and CSF, and we are trying to build a foundation on standards and what we should do from a production standpoint, from a supplier standpoint, trying to collect some data and share and try to close some of the gaps, but probably the main gaps, not all the gaps. It's kind of impossible to do all the gaps. So just a quick introduction here. So the US SHIP, the Swine Health Improvement Plan, it's a national producer-driven program designed to protect the US swine industry against foreign animal disease. So our goal is literally focus on preventing disease introduction to US swine herd. And so 3 pillars are related to the US SHIP, so biosecurity, traceability, disease surveillance. And one of the groups related to biosecurity is the Feed Biosafety Working Group, which is led by Dr. Jordan Gebhardt, and I have the honor to work with him. And in this Feed Biosafety team, we have Olivia's work with all porcine-based ingredients, feed meal decontamination, and the feed ingredient importation. So that's why I'm going to talk now, what we are doing in this area of feed ingredients import. So why we should focus on ingredient import? So coming with this introduction, so the risk of introduction of viruses through the importation of feed ingredients is very well documented. We can see some papers showing that a virus can survive for a certain period of time in a substrate or in a package, or somehow it can survive in certain environments. So to mitigate that risk, we need to think about applying biosecurity practices when importing feed ingredients from those ASF, CSF affected areas. As a beginning, for this project, we are trying to target non-bulk ingredients. So now we're not talking about grains, we're not talking about soybean meal. We're talking about that package of vitamins, amino acids, minerals, some enzymes, and some other feed additives that are brought to the US from ASF, CSF affected countries. And then we talked to several people in our working group. It's not only us. We have folks in the industry, we have suppliers, feed companies, and we try to understand what are the foundation for this program. And then we came with these 3 pillars here. So traceability, biosecurity at the origin from a manufacturer standpoint, upon arrival, and also the quarantine structure of that supplier that is actually importing the ingredients and selling to the big production company. So something that to keep in mind, the USDA has in their webpage a list of countries that are considered ASF or CSF affected countries. So I don't have all names here, but you can easily find, and they update that very, very often. So this was a one-page document that we prepare after some visits to warehouses, visits with swine nutritionists, and we try to put together in a very simple one-page document and share within our working group in the US SHIP to see, collect feedbacks, trying to understand the best way to approach this topic. And then after sharing this document, we created a program that is called Biosecure Ingredient Imports Program. We also developed this logo, and then in some of those feedbacks, we started to see how we can collect data from the industry, from the supplier, to understand what is where we are now. So how many companies have some good practices in the quarantine, in the warehouse? How many companies know the country of origin of all single products that they bring to the US? So trying to understand and bring this information into like more more in a data, like showing like in a table to trying to understand a little bit better. So all those points that I mentioned, traceability, biosecurity, and also the quarantine. So we have a more robust document that we are circulating with some nutritionists, some suppliers. Then here I'm going to summarize very quickly all of these 4 points. So traceability, we are considering the company that has the ability to track lots back to the source, including manufacturer location, and also all movements that that product suffer. Leaving the port, arriving in the port, being transported, so having the capacity to track the product that you just purchased. And also having the capacity to keep this information in a cloud or stored somehow store that information. And now when we think about biosecurity at the origin, so from a manufacturer standpoint, so here the supplier needs to have the information from where he is bringing these products from. So the idea here is focusing clean container, no reuse, refurbished, or recycled bags or pallets. Of course, we can consider that if a pallet went through or passed through steam, high temperature process, it's a kind of a good attitude. So it's not going to have any virus after this type of process. But also have products bad, palletized, and shrink wrapped prior loading, and also container must be sealed and locked. We're talking about the product that is in Asia, the product that is in Europe, so not in the US so far. But when this product is transferred, so the possession of this product is transferred to the company that actually imported that. So we also listed some important points that should be considered when thinking about biosecurity upon arrival. So here, we are more tackling damaged packages. So that could happen. You can import a product that comes in a bag, in a package, and then you have like 10 packages broken, and you have that product spill out inside the container, or either it arrives already spilling out the product. So how you handle that, because technically you don't know if that product is contaminated or not. I would say the chance of a virus, of a ASF virus, to survive inside a package of a mineral, it's really small. Let's say 0.00001%. If you do that like 1 million times, the odds to something happen increase quite a bit. So we are trying to, as the idea of the program is to improve the swine health of the swine production, of the production here in the US, we are trying to close these small gaps also. So USDA has a list of the disinfectants that are allowed to use and certified to be effective against ASF and CSF. So how companies should handle these product spills, or also if the product is spilled inside the truck trailer, these EPA disinfectants are listed in the USDA website. But then moving to the last point here, that is probably the most interesting one, and the one that has more variability between suppliers, importers, and we visit a few companies and warehouses. And you can tell me like how many different processes and ways to keep that product in a warehouse are made different. So we are trying to bring like a kind of a gold standard here. So the attitudes that will make a lot that importation process a lot more safe. And here we're talking about having an enclosed airspace, clearly delineated, having that product in a holding time of no less than 30 days at no less than 75 degrees, and some more housekeeping type of biosecurity attitudes like clean and dirty line to avoid people get contaminated. Also communication in English and Spanish. We have several folks working in these warehouses that only speak Spanish. And also, of course, having a downtime for personnel that works in the warehouse that had contact or traveled to ASF, CSF affected areas. So this is kind of a big picture of this program. And then now what are we going to do? We're going to visit every single warehouse in country to try to understand where we are. Well, actually, as I mentioned, in our working team, we have nutritionists from swine production companies, we have suppliers, we have some other feed companies, and we are trying to understand how we can collect this information. We already started, and one of the feedbacks that we got from one of these interactions with swine nutritionists, we ended up developing a 4-star tier. And the goal here is we're not recommending anything, but we are trying to understand where we are. So this 4-star tier would be a 4-star, so a kind of a gold standard. We'll have all check marks here for traceability, biosecurity, and also we'll follow all the things that I just mentioned about the quarantine. So enclosed area, dedicated forklift, 30 days or more for holding time, and temperature control at 75 minimum. So this is kind of the gold standard. We're not recommending anything, and this program is a voluntary program, so we're not asking, please join the program, but we are trying to share what we are doing. And then it's a voluntary because we're not obligating anyone to participate. So, and we understand that we probably will have companies with the 1-star, the 2 and the 3-star. We're just trying to set like a grade, how we can categorize. And our goal now is to categorize every single product that is imported from any specific production company, and with that have the information. Now we have 70% of the products in that company being imported from a 2-star tier, and this is the amount because of the inclusion rate of X pounds in the nursery phase 1 diet. So we want to dig into all this information to understand also what is the volume of these products that are actually showing some risk to our swine industry. So we are moving and trying to generate this data, and these are the next steps. So we are communicating the program, so you guys are more aware of what we are doing now with the Biosecure ingredient import program. So we are communicating to swine producers, ingredient suppliers, and we are having some interactions with both of them to trying to generate some data. And for the next US SHIP conference, we'll try to show, well, where are the gaps? Which are the gaps? Which one we need to focus more? Oh, we have literally the problem is related to temperature control or holding time. So we're trying to understand where we are to then dictate our next steps. With that, I appreciate your attention, and I will pass the microphone to Olivia, that is also working in the feed biosecurity in the US SHIP. And then she's going to present something about the feed mill decontamination. Thank you.